I met a girl on AIM back in the day, and through a long and involved series of events over the course of about 2 years for the initial developments and 20 years for all of the stories to resolve, we started dating. I introduced her to my friends, and we started hanging out at her place to watch movies in the basement before going to the only all-ages rave in the area at the time, mid-90s. She started to sleep around and we broke up but continued hanging out. One of the guys she was hooking up with moved into her basement, so he started coming along with us to the raves. We played Vampire, the Masquerade at my dad's office. Then somebody broke into the house of the owner of the club that was hosting the raves and robbed him, then murdered him. Soon after, my dad's office was robbed. One of my best friends was accused of the former robbery and murder and taken from his home in a massive SWAT raid and held in prison awaiting arraignment indefinitely. Because the only evidence was that he went to parties at the guy's club and hung out with him now and then, and that someone had accused him of the murder on an online message board. Eventually, the guy who had moved into my ex's basement was caught in a stolen car with a bunch of stolen stuff from my dad's office, and fingerprints from these items connected him directly to the murder. It's likely he was the one who had made the online accusation to throw anyone off of his trail. My friend was released, but the time in prison had done serious damage to him. And the fact that this had all been all over the news for so long, with his release and innocence being relegated to a short paragraph on the third page of one of the local newspapers, meant that he was addicted to hard drugs, had lost contact with all of his friends, had missed out on the final year of high school, and had trouble getting a job or moving out of the projects. The killer is serving life with no parole. The murder was brutal. As I understand it, he was there with 2 other guys he'd convinced to come along, promising them easy money and a lot of it. When the homeowner turned out to be there, the other 2 wanted to bail, but he decided to capture the guy and torture him to try and get more money. He injected a bunch of different chemicals into the guy, like Windex and bleach and drain cleaner, and forced him to give up his ATM pin, etc. My friend who was falsely accused died of a drug overdose last year. Everyone else has moved on, and I'm pretty sure they rarely think about it all. The girl who is at the center of it all is the only one I haven't had any contact with. The last anyone I know heard from her, she was waiting tables at a BBQ restaurant, but I think she eventually became a missionary. She actually met the killer at a church. She and her family were always very involved in church stuff, and he had a system that he told me about, much later, where he would go to churches to pick up inexperienced girls because he said they were easier. Seriously, fuck that guy. I feel really guilty about it all, but I can't even really quantify why I do. I just feel like, in a way, my pursuit of this girl, partying, and my extreme naivete led to 2 deaths. But it is all a little crazy. Basically, the death of the club owner really hit the local electronic music community hard, and it was a thriving scene before that. Ugh. Anyway, for the most part, it was long ago.